Gaining ownership of your life means taking control and responsibility for your thoughts, your actions, decisions, and making them aligned with your values, goals, and aspirations. Now, this also involves being mindful of your habits, your relationships, environment, and taking steps to shape them in a way that supports your growth and your personal happiness.
Some ways to do this include setting boundaries, practicing self care, setting achievable goals, seeking help and support where needed, and also continuously learning and growing. Our guest is Ms. Fisayo Odebode. She's an author, coach, and social entrepreneur. She is also deeply passionate about rebuilding broken communities and restoring connections through her lifestyle. And of course, other inspired ideas that she's put together. She founded Check House with a mission to promote self-reliance through empowerment programs, the business of music, and other social interventions.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Ms. Fisayo Odebode.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I'm so happy to be here.
We're happy to have you as well. So let's have a conversation about goals. And it's important to have this because the year is just getting off to a start and we're seeing vision board parties springing up in the different corners. I think this year is the year I've seen the most vision board parties. Now, it's for people who maybe cannot afford these vision board party sessions and people who are wondering why all of this, why is it important? And, beyond the whole, we hear smart ways to set goals. What are some of the helpful tips you'd give to people who feel that the year has already started? I'm in the second month, but I still don't feel like I found my bearing.
They need to make use of their hindsight. Where are they coming from? And then now evaluate, is this where they want to be? Is this where they don't want to be? Sometimes you don't know where exactly where you are going. You might not be able to, construct a vision for your life. But when you see where you are coming from, at least you can be able to tell, do I like, the direction in which my life is going or not? What can I do to make things better? And that's where personal development comes in, because then you can now say, I'm lacking in such or certain areas of my life, and what can I do to make it better? So I'll say you might not particularly have that vision yet, but you can at least look at where you're coming from and then see if, you are fulfilled with the direction and the pattern in which, your life is taking, and then you can now decide to make adjustments from there.
Well, so just quickly, I want you to, still on the same question on goals. It's pretty easy to say these things and to motivate people, with words. But I want you to speak to a person who doesn't have some of the safety nets that help them relax and draw up goals. There are people who are too hungry to even have goals. They really just want to survive every passing day till the next. So, what would your advice be to a person like that who doesn't have the luxury of a vision board? They just want to, find food to eat that day and see how they survive at the end of the month. Somehow pay rent and keep it moving.
You don't necessarily have to have a vision board. The truth is, your decision determines your destiny. You have been living by survival, trying to just get the next meal, which is important. But you can set the limitless goals. You don't determine what life throws at you. And that's kind of what I've been, saying over and again. You don't determine what life throws at you, the family that you are born in, the country, the environment that you are born in. And so you might not be able to determine the kind of challenges, that you go through, but you can decide by yourself to make the most of your life. And so you might not be able to do it on a very large scale like some other people because of the kind of leverage that they have, but you have to take it little by little. The limitless, goals that you can set for yourself. You don't necessarily have to purchase a vision board. Right there on your phone, you can set to-do list. You can set, this is what I want to achieve this week. And you must understand that you will fail at it, because even the very big people that you want to pattern your lives after, they fail regularly. And that's how success works. If you want to be successful, you have to be ready to fail. You have to be ready for the lowest of times. Like I said again, you don't determine the challenges that come your way, but you can leverage, the little successes that you have every moment of your life, to move forward in life.
You've mentioned a very valuable point. You've spoken to the fact that people must be ready to deal with failure, and be able to say that deal with rejection, because it's in that process that you get success, or that's your journey to success. I want you to help prepare people to deal with failure, to accept rejection, because it's not the easiest thing. So they've planned, they have this goal they work towards, but they failed. So prepare one to have the right mindset or the right attitude, the right approach, if you may, to dealing with failure and rejection.
Failure and rejection is something I love to talk about. Number one, you have to accept, you have to normalize rejection. Everyone at every point in their life, at certain points in their life, will be rejected, will experience failure. So number one, you have to normalize rejection. It is very normal. The same way people can say yes to you, they have to be able to say no to you, except you want to build a toxic environment. It's okay for people to say no to you. It's okay for you to make mistakes. But what happens is that you learn a new way to do something, or how not to do something. So failure is a gift. Rejection is a gift, because it helps you to know that, okay, this isn't working. You know at least one way that this isn't working. You know at least one area of your life that may need a little bit more correction. So number one, you have to normalize rejection. Number two is you have to be humble. You have to understand that you might not necessarily be the best at what you do. You might not necessarily have all the leverages that you thought that you had. And so you have to humble yourself, not necessarily parading yourself as the humble person, but being open-minded, keeping an open mind to the fact that there is a possibility that this may not work. There is a possibility that this might not be accepted. People who have gone to do great things and successful things have been rejected. People have gotten rejections, even at the embassy and stuff like that. Certain areas of one's life, application to the uni, for your postgraduate or something, whatever it is, people who have gone on to do successful things and to be great in life have had to endure failure, have had to endure rejection, and then take a cue from those experiences to know how not to do things or how better to do things.
All right. I also want to talk now about, habits. Developing good and of course dropping bad habits. A lot of persons watching us this morning have certain habits that they know would not be beneficial to them moving forward. So talk to us about that. Vices, bad habits, addictions, some of all of that.
Yeah, if you must lead yourself, you must take ownership of your life. You have to ditch certain habits. That's why I talked about hindsight earlier on. Looking at your life, the pattern, the rhythm of your life. What are the things that set you back? What are the things that put you on a downward slope, put you in a state of depression, makes things difficult for you? What are those habits? You have to think about them, and then, write them down, itemize them. And then, this is why we're talking about personal development. Then you now take a study as to, how can I better my life in this area? How can I do better for myself if I really want to grow, if I really want to be more successful, if I really want to live a more balanced life? I have to ditch certain habits. For example, people who go about blaming others but themselves for all the challenges that they go through. We already know we live in an environment that can be difficult, that can be tough, but it builds resilience, it makes us stronger and stuff like that. What you have to know that other people cannot be responsible for your actions. And I'm just giving this as an example. There are people who need to quit the blame game. That's a habit. They are used to blaming other people and, living out their part, in whatever it is that has happened in their life, living out, whatever part they have played in bringing themselves to where they are at the time. So to displace old habits, you have to embrace new ones. So I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this, I don't want that. What are the other things that I can do, to live a better life? And that's just it. You have to embrace new habits to be able to let go of bad habits and old habits that you wouldn't like to move forward in your life.
Ms. Fisayo Odebode, thank you very much for highlighting all these points. These are very important conversations, and we must be reminded to take ownership of our lives and understand what is within our control, what is within our border, and what is left for someone else to control. Thank you so much. We look forward to having you again, and do enjoy the
Thank
rest
you
of your
for
day.
having me. I had a good time.
Absolutely.